Here's an irony. One of the greatest advocates for the most impoverished people on the globe is one of the richest. And Bill Gates is alarmed that because of our own economic crisis, the will to help the neediest will falter. He has written a letter to the public, which he intends to be an annual tradition, and will release it Monday. I'm Nicholas Kristof of the New York Times. I came here to Seattle for an advance peek at that letter and to talk to Gates about why he thinks aid is now more necessary than ever. The economy right now is in desperate shape. Americans are obviously thinking about their own jobs. So why is this the time to argue that we have to step up to the plate for other people a long way away?
This crisis is touching every country in the world. And obviously, if you're a farmer getting by with just enough food to eat, a reduction in 20% means your kid isn't getting the nutrition to defend themselves against disease or to develop in a way they can go off to school and develop their potential. So the poorer you are, the worse this impact is. And therefore we have to think about equity, particularly when times are tough like this. I think the key there is not just the charitable aspect, but the fact that some things are being incredibly successful. The emphasis on malaria now, huge reductions in the deaths there. The emphasis on vaccination rates and the donations that have been made there, huge reductions in the number of deaths, particularly in things like measles.
Last July, Gates made the transition from working full-time at Microsoft to working full-time at his foundation. He's now trying to do to malaria, AIDS, polio, and lethal childhood diarrhea what he did to Netscape, and he just may succeed.
I'm thrilled that the science is at the right point, that by drawing in the companies, by drawing in some of the government budgets, by the resources we have, we're on the verge of some big advances. Malaria, diarrhea, AIDS prevention, each one of these things in the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to achieve some very big milestones, getting new vaccines out, discovering new approaches. And so it almost feels to me like software did, where I got involved at exactly the right time, where the microprocessor was there and other great people are coming into the field. Here in global health, it's the state of the science, the awareness of the public, the interest in these issues, sort of moving from Cold War thinking to, gosh, the entire world and how we improve livelihoods. And so it does feel pretty magic.
There are a lot of readers who will want to do something, and they obviously don't have billions to give away, but they've got tens or hundreds or maybe thousands. What can they do?
I think the key thing is to pick a cause, whether it's the crops or the diseases or great high schools. Pick one and get some more in-depth knowledge. There are some great organizations that work in these areas, from the International Alliance for Vaccines, IAVI, that does AIDS, Save the Children, that helps out the children. Nothing But Nets is a malaria fundraising group. There's Friends of the Global Fund here in the U.S. And so for each one of these things that's having great success, it makes a huge difference to have the political voice, the donated dollars, and the volunteer time of people. I really encourage people to go see this stuff firsthand. Visit a really bad high school, which is unfortunately in the inner city is a normal high school, and then go and see one of these charter schools that are doing it a very different way. And that contrast will blow your mind. The injustice of what if you as a student had been assigned to that poor school will really drive you into action. If you can get to Africa or Asia and see the new farming techniques or what's going on with the vaccination, that definitely will draw you in. So there's no shortage of great nonprofit organizations that can absorb time and resources to back these causes.
So give it a shot. What you need to affect change isn't billions, but the will. Hey, all the rest is just scale. In Seattle, for the New York Times, I'm Nicholas Kristof.
I didn't know that.